Yes. What good has it done you to come into me? How have you been helped?
Oh.
Did you have a question for me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You had your hand. Go ahead.
The question first?
Yeah, your question for me.
Oh, okay. So, when we are born again, we're not sinners. You've taught that we've never done anything wrong.
Right. You're not neither a sinner or a saint. Can you
Sinner or
imagine
saint.
living a life knowing you're not a sinner? And so now you have to be trying to make yourself a saint? Going to the Catholic Church, wishing Mary on the wall? Go ahead.
And also, in not identifying with the ego, the sinful nature, calling it like the anger, or the whatever it is, whatever spirit it is,
Right.
rather than
Speak up a little bit for me.
rather than I'm nervous or I'm this. You say the nervousness, or identify it.
Just say nervousness, but don't say I'm nervous.
Right. So I'm trying to understand when you say to the biblical question that the reason why evil is able to work with you, where the you is
Right.
every individual, is because you are evil. So
Right.
trying to understand how that is not identifying with that identity, which is evil, which is in many...
I was hoping someone would ask that question.
Yeah, because...
It's only because you have identified with evil, so evil can work with you.
Yes.
If you didn't identify with it, it would be in his head and emotion, but you wouldn't identify with it, it can't do anything. I'm sorry?
That's not what she means. She's saying she's saying something different.
Oh, you saying something, asking something different?
I'm trying to understand why you say because you are evil, and yet we are working on being awake to the fact that we're not, that instead we are not that.
So instead of saying the nervousness or I'm nervous, you're saying nervousness. She's saying instead of you saying you're evil, telling people you're evil or I'm evil, why not just say the evil?
Oh, because they have identified, so they are.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Or
Because
to say
you have identified with it, so you are. Because you have identified with it.
So we're trying to wake up. Why not
Right.
not say you're evil? Because if I wake up, then I shouldn't say that.
But now that I've told you that it can work with you because you identify with it,
Because
you are
I am
evil.
yes.
Now that you stop identifying with it, it can't do that.
Okay. Because you identify with evil.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's different from because you are evil. Because that sounds like an identity I must identify with to understand the question. I don't know if that makes sense.
Interpret.
Yeah, so she's saying that when you tell people you are evil, she's saying that's a way that you're making it seem as if that's now how we have to identify it to make ourselves understand what's going on within. So she's saying that
Are you from Africa?
Yes.
Oh, no wonder. No. Because you think that you are, and so it makes you evil because you've identified with evil.
But I no longer do that, and I'm trying not to ever do that again.
Okay, so you'll be fine then.
Okay.
I mean, we got to communicate, right?
We do, and the communication that sounds awake to me is when you say, because evil has made a home, so wake up and see it and don't identify with it. Then it kind of makes a reverse when you say, because you are, so then I'm like, okay, then I don't want to do
sometimes
that
you do
anymore.
say,
Anybody have a joint?
sometimes you do.
You have a no.
I understand when you say you have never done anything wrong.
Hate want to respond
right?
to this. No. You keep the mic.
Okay.
Oh, Joya, don't forget, we'll come back to you. Okay, finish that point, and then Hate want to respond.
No, that's it.
That's it?
Yes,
Okay,
but
hey.
I wanted to answer whatever you were asking too.
I think people intellectually learn that it's not them, And so when you tell them it is them, they want to skip the pain of being evil, because they've learned that it's not them, and it feels more. I think that it feels more comforting to know that it's not you. To know intellectually that it's not you, it becomes like a comfort, and you can relax, but you're still identifying with evil, and you're still identifying with evil, and you still are evil, but you're thinking, oh, it's not me, so you feel better.
Oh, just because you say it intellectually, that doesn't make it true. Because intellectually is just knowledge about it, right? But you got to get past the knowledge about it.
That
Intellectual
I
knowledge.
understand that. I maybe if you can help me understand the illustration you always make when you say this was you when you were a child, and then when you got traumatized, the thoughts came. But I can clearly see that you being you has nothing to do with the thoughts and you being in them. I thought that's the whole point of realizing that God made you in His image, and then because you need to become aware that the thoughts are not you. That's the whole objective of all this. So I'm not sure whether finding the peace in the knowledge of it is intellectualism, because that's the reality, no? You knowing that God created you in His image, and you
But
ending up in the
intellectually knowing that God created you in His image, it's not knowing that God created you in His image. You just heard about it. It's just knowledge. It's when you see it, it becomes real. 'Cause a whole bunch of people quote stuff intellectually. I hear people all up and down town quote what I say about it, but it's just knowledge. They don't really see it.
So does that mean that
That's why you have to let knowledge go. Don't hold on to it. Just hear and let it go in one ear and out the other.
okay?
Because you'll go around now saying, oh, I'm not evil. But it's just knowledge when you're still evil because you don't see it. That's why people give you knowledge, let the knowledge go so you can see the spirit of what's going on.
So how do you walk in the truth that you're not a sinner and yet you're evil too? How do you walk in that understanding?
How do you walk into?
How does that make sense? You're not a sinner, and then you're evil. How do you?
It doesn't make sense to a person with knowledge. But I promise you, if you let the knowledge go, you heard the news. I'm not a sinner nor a saint, right? You hear that news.
Right.
But then don't lock into it and just stay there with that. Let that news pass so that you can see what that means.
Okay.
Because you are locked in with that news and you just have the knowledge. It's like people learn the knowledge of God, but that's all they have is knowledge.
Mm-hmm. So how do you know then?
I'm sorry?
How would you know you know?
It will be revealed to you if you let the knowledge go and stay with it.
Okay.
Yes, Joe?
No, I mean, I was just trying to clear up what she's saying, but the language gets confusing when, like, for example, if you say, even though in the bigger picture, it's not important, but if you say human beings don't have love, but then you say human beings are evil, well, then it's like, or human beings have anger. But if we don't have love, then why do we have anger? So that's an example of the confusion that sometimes it sounds like you're saying. How do we have one and not have the other when we either have them or we don't have them, is the point.
I'm about to take a drink
If
now.
you have
I
love...
need a joint and a drink. I had a quick decision. You heard
But
that
if you
song?
have
I need
love,
a
I'll make
quick
it simple.
decision.
If you have love, then how do you have anger? If you don't have love, how do you have anger?
If you don't have love,
How do you have anger?
if you don't have love, how do you have anger?
Right. if human beings don't have love, how do they have anger?
Because they don't have love.
Right, but if you don't have love, then you shouldn't have anger. If it's
But you
not
gotta
us.
have one or the other.
But if we're not those identities, right? If we don't have love, then we can't also not have anger. But that's the language. That's the example of
that
what.
question. I honestly don't. I wish we had more time. 'Cause everybody wanted to get in on this, right? Can we pick up on it next week? Can you suffer till then? Because I don't understand that question. It doesn't even sound like a normal.
You understand it.
Huh?
You understand it.
No, I don't. I don't understand that question. And it may be a common sense question. I see a lot of hands, so that means something wrong with that question. But no. Yes, last word. You've been waiting a minute, that's why.
Man, we're limited by language, and we're
Yeah,
talking
definitely,
about
for sure.
we're talking about abstract things, spiritual things, and everybody's not going to get it. Like, it's not meant for everybody to understand it.
That's a
so the
good
people
point.
that are meant to understand it, they'll understand it. You're not going to intellectualize your way into this. So
That's a
all I
very
have to
good
say.
point. With us talking about this, me talking about it, you talking about it, you can't understand it from me talking about it. You cannot, don't even try. You will not be able to understand by you hearing me talk about it. It's just knowledge when you hear it. There has to be an awakening inside of you that takes over from that knowledge, and it explains everything. It reveals everything to you. Not even explain, it allows you to see. That's a very good point. Because I'm sure that may be a system of question. I don't get that question. I really don't understand it. And we run out of time, and Nick, you had the last word since you're the anchor baby.
I think there is a way to do what you're talking about. Being, if I may, just I'm understanding you're saying, how can we know that truth, that we're free, that we're not those things, but also square what he's saying about being evil? I think there is a way to do that, and that is if you were to accept what you're not and just not get mad about it, not judge it. If you're, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, let's say you saw evil in you or something. Like, you saw it, you're like, oh, but I'm not evil. Jesse said, instead of conflicting with that, showing what you're talking about is accepting that. Just like, okay, you know what, I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I'm not just going to say, I'm not evil, that's not me. No, I got mad at somebody.
Amazing.
In that moment, you're showing what you're talking about, I think.
Everybody just suffer that confused right now. Suffer for the rest of the week, and we'll do. Think about it. That'll be your assignment. Think about this crazy question. Well, nice question. No. But you make a point, it's the language I get. You can't be caught up with the language. It has to be something happening right now inside of you to confirm what's being said. But if you're caught up in your head about what's been said, you're not going to get it. It'll just be knowledge, intellectual knowledge. You can't add it up and figure it out. Don't even try to figure it out. Well, if I don't have anger, I must have love. If I don't have love, I must have... No. Don't try to figure it out that way. Really. We can't figure out the things of God. That can't be, well, if 2 + 2 is 4, then this must be the answer. The things of God cannot be figured out. I wish it could. Either it's revealed to you or it's not. And if you want it, though, it will be revealed. It will be revealed. So, amazing question. Thanks for screwing everything up at the end of the meeting. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. Good question. I'm out of time. Do the silent prayer. Look, I've told you once, I told you twice. You got to practice being present, and all these things will be made clear to you. They really will, but you cannot learn it. You cannot add up 2 + 2 and think you have the answer. You cannot say, oh, I don't have anger, then I must have love. I don't have love, I must have... It doesn't work that way. You can't see the things of God unless they're revealed to you, all right? So do the silent prayer. Work on you. Commit to it. That's all you got to do. Let go and commit to the truth. As an individual, and you'll be fine. Don't forget to donate, check out our merch, and blah, blah, blah. Be safe out there. An amazing meeting today. Thank you for that. And thank you all. Amazing. I appreciate it. the feedback. Amazing.